to the program, and it is the topic excellence with personal mentor and the CEO other than Imraan Choonara. This program is brought to you by the African Muslims Agency. Yesterday, we had a discussion on emotional maturity. It was part one and quite intense, and the need, obviously, to have it extended to part two. And we'd like to welcome him to the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Imraan.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Azhar, and of course, great way to end the week. Subhanallah, it's emotional maturity part two. So rightfully, like you said, yesterday was quite a deep start to it maybe, and I want to kind of wrap some thoughts up around that concept of emotional maturity. We talked about the fact that everybody's an emotional human being. You can't say men are unemotional. You can't say women are more emotional. It's all of that kind of stuff. We're all emotional beings. You could say that society has allowed women or taught women to be more emotionally expressive, and society has taught men to be less emotionally expressive. So men kind of feel like it's not good to express their emotions, or they don't know how to. And there's kind of the stigma attached to kind of wanting to develop your emotions or your emotional maturity or your strength for that matter. We all want to develop our physical strength. We all want to develop our mental strength. We want to develop our financial strength, spiritual strength, and we don't talk about developing our emotional strength in a big way. And I mean, of course, and I say we meaning often males. It doesn't mean, of course, we females are always good at this. And I want to maybe touch and wrap this up with a couple of thoughts here. We said yesterday that people have a fear around developing their emotions. And the misconception is that men are the only ones that have a fear that around developing their emotions. Because frankly, it's not a gender thing. I know men who are very in touch with their emotions and are willing to develop it and willing to go for therapy and empower themselves emotionally. I know men who aren't willing to do that. I know women who are willing to do that and women who aren't willing to do that. So it's not a gender thing. Yes, women grasp the idea quicker because of societal pressures. Like I said, society made it easier and they supported each other in that. Where will you find another man telling another man, when a man comes to him and says, by the way, I'm busy seeing a therapist, or I'm actually seeing somebody who's helping me with my emotions and just deal with things and package things appropriately. Where will you see another man come alongside him and say, hey, buddy, way to go, man. I'm with you. Support you all the way, man. It's really great. Hey, that's the right way to go. But women, when a woman comes to a woman and says, I'm seeing somebody, I just needed to understand how I'm feeling and get some perspective on things and whatever. Women are like, man, let's hug you. Yeah, you're right, man. Go for it. We support you. You're strong. We're with you. That's their nature. And we've allowed it to be. Men kind of like, well, okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. But we kind of almost give the guy a feeling like, dude, I didn't know you were weird. I didn't know something was going on in your life that you needed to go and get help. So you're like, okay. And then we kind of like step back a little bit. So we make men who talk about going to see a therapist, or we make men who are going to say, look, I need a perspective of my emotions. We make them feel like, okay, it's almost they feel weaker. They feel like they don't belong part of the club anymore. They're not part of the cool guys. And that's very, very dangerous because men are suffering inside in a massive way because we as society have kind of implied that it's not cool. And I say to people very openly. I mean, for example, when I got divorced over 5.5 years ago, and by the way, that's a big thing. Let's talk about that for a second because so many people, whether you're divorced or not divorced, it doesn't matter whether you have emotions. You don't only go see someone when something goes, so to speak, wrong in your life. Why? Because how did you learn how to deal with your emotions? You never learned. You went to school to learn how to deal with your emotions? No, you didn't. So why is it sensible then you should just go to see somebody and actually get some perspective on your emotions? When I got divorced, I actually went to ask somebody, a friend of mine, I said, you know what? Maybe I should go and see someone. And she said to me, she's a clinical psychologist, she said, Imran, but you're kind of really aware and you're very in touch with what's, so don't worry, you'll be fine. I said, yeah, of course I'll be fine. I said, that's not the point. I said, how about if I go and see someone who might have some perspective on packaging things mentally and emotionally? What's the worst that could happen? I could learn something. What's the worst that could happen? And she said, good point. I said, absolutely. That person can't tell me how to live my life, but that person give me perspective. If I go see a personal trainer at gym, can they tell me how to exactly, they can give me perspective on how to be better physically and healthy, but it's still my responsibility to do something about it. Which means if I go see someone emotionally and they give me perspective on life, man, it's still my choice to do something about it. I can choose to take the information and do nothing with it, or I can choose to take the information and do something with it. And that's what I decided to do. And every man, and I say this especially to men, every man who tells me, hey, he's going through a tough time, and I often hear about men getting divorced, going through a difficult time, or a financial setback, and I often say to them, why don't you go seek some therapy? And they look at me like weird, like forget divorce, financial setback. They lost their business, or they got retrenched, or they lost a job. And I say to them, you know what a smart idea to go just see someone. And they're like, why? I'm like, I just lost my business. I'm like, listen, mate. It's not about your business, not about that you're bad. It's about you learning that maybe there's some patterns in your life, maybe there's some emotional, the way you view things, the way you feel about things, the energy you give off, that maybe you are actually responsible for some of the stuff that's going on in your life just because of your emotions. And you can actually learn to package that, right? So now, here's the thing though. Remember I said it's not a gender thing. Now let me explain to you, because I know you're sitting here listening to this, and if you're listening to these talks of ours, you want to keep Imraan, how do I do this? Okay, number one is compartmentalize. Learn to compartmentalize. So that's a good point to write down. A mentor of mine, maybe 20 years ago, taught me this compartmentalizing thing. Too many people let their emotions about one thing overflow into their emotions about something else. It's like they don't know how to compartmentalize things. So something's going on at home, and of course they're feeling a certain way, and they let it spew over into every area of their lives. Now don't get me wrong, emotions are of that nature. I'm the common denominator of every aspect of my life, which means if something's going weird in one area of my life, if I don't learn something about it, it will go weird in every other area of my life, because I'm the common denominator. I'm the one that's involved in every area of my life. Which means if I get stronger, every area gets stronger. If I get weaker, every area gets weaker. So compartmentalize. Understand that. And of course, when you compartmentalize, because if you don't compartmentalize, if you just overflow and you don't know what's going on, and you're spewing one emotion over into another area, you become emotionally high maintenance. You know people like that. I know people like that. When they come into your space, you're just like, oh, I don't know. When they come into my space, when they phone me, I don't take that phone call, because they're emotionally high maintenance. What does it mean? It means something's going on some other area of their life, and they call you, and you've got 2 minutes you can speak to them on the phone about something important you and them need to discuss, and they're for 15 minutes telling you about the drama's going on, and then my mother-in-law, and you can't believe what she said, and you're like, just wait. Compartmentalize. Put that one side. That's not our discussion today. How are we dealing in this conversation is how we deal in this conversation. That's
And
that's
Imran, if you
yeah.
could
Go
come
ahead.
in there for a second. I mean, I'm laughing and smiling because here at the radio station, I think people think we are those trained professionals that are going to take them through this emotional journey of theirs. And we walk out of the studio, the phone will ring. And previously, the amazing thing about this was while Ibrahim Kangat, rahmatullahi alayhi, was alive, he would be that person. And people would call in, and he would patience, he'd sit and talk to them and take them through this entire thing and advise them as best as he could. And since he's passing now, people still continue phoning. Do that. And we're like, oh, hold on. Let's just,
Absolutely.
we're not trained to do this kind of things. But I get
Yeah.
exactly what you say. People just need to speak it out sometimes.
Yeah. And you see, that's why I say, folks, speak to a professional. By the way, the buddy you are phoning, dangerous. Because and I want to get to that point before we wrap up today. Because you become emotionally high maintenance. People don't want to speak with you. And you wonder why you're being isolated. Because you become high maintenance. So, for example, and by the way, don't get emotionally connected to the weakness of other people. Now I'm telling you, the guys who are on the receiving end of emotionally high maintenance people, be careful. Don't get emotionally connected to the weakness of other people. There are other people who are maybe something weak, but you don't have to connect your emotions to their weakness. If someone says something bad about you, or judges you, or gossips about you to someone else, that's their drama, it's their weakness. Don't get your emotions all wrapped up into it. You become an emotional basket case because you're wrapping up your emotions other people's weakness. It's their issue. They're insecure about something. Leave it. Don't go tell another person, you know what they said about me. Now you bring it on yourself. You don't even know if it's true. And by the way, remember, if someone else is hurting you, remember, hurting people hurt people. It means that person is hurting. And we talked yesterday about the concept of being, you cut on your arm or your leg and it's bleeding. If it's bleeding, you go see someone. It's kind of weird to walk around with blood falling out of your leg all the time. You're like, what's going on? Nah, I'll be fine. No, we don't do that. And here's the thing I want to talk to you about. If you've got a gash on your leg, you don't go around bleeding on everybody else, is it? You don't walk around and say, hey, Azhar, just, see this blood coming on my leg. Listen, man, come stand next to me. All this blood must come on you. No, it's dumb. It's silly. Now, this is a physical wound. What about your emotional wounds? It's not your friend's job for them to take all the blood from your emotional wounds. The best your friend can do is say, man, I love you. I support you. I'll be with you as a shoulder, but you need to go see someone professional. And if you're a friend of someone who needs assistance, please refer the friend. Don't listen to the drama. You're not trained. You're taking the blood on you, and then you're looking at this wound, and all the blood's coming on you saying, hey, man, that's a bad wound, man. Jesus, it's unbelievable. I don't know what you're going to do with that, man. Hey, whatever, mate. And you let all the blood fall on you. Now, you've got blood on you. That person's bleeding, and none of you are getting any better. Send that person to a doctor. That's what you do. So, with emotionals, someone comes and bleeds all over you. Say, you know what? I respect you. I love you, man. I support you. I would suggest you see someone. And I say that to a lot of my mates. I say, go see someone. It's a passion. So, men, let me wrap up on this. It's okay. I promise, find someone that you can connect with. And go and talk to people. Talk. We are human beings. We are meant to speak. And women, your friends can support you, but you need a professional. Please. Your friends are not a trained professional on how to help you deal with emotions. The advice you get your friend about, leave him. He's a dog. Leave him. I told you, man, leave him. Right? And then you leave him. And then that friend is not there to comfort you when he's gone. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have left him. I'm just saying, get perspective first, not your mate. And guys, hanging out with the buddies and your buddies telling you about, yeah, you know, but that woman, this one, yeah, but your wife, yeah, she's a nag. I know you. She's always nagging you. Just, hey, man, come on. How does your buddy know that? Is he trained? No, he's not. Don't take advice from your mate. He can support you, but he can't give you advice. Can't give you perspective. He's not trained on the emotions. He can't deal with his own emotions, for goodness sake. And women, she's struggling with her own emotions, man. And now she's mixing her emotions with your emotions and her perspective, because if she went through a tough time in life, she's projecting that onto you. Folks, we're done. Let me hear on this. Let me leave you with this. Don't look to blame another human being for the emotional trauma you're experiencing. Don't get me wrong on this. I know you're experiencing it because there was a certain situation in life. But the minute you blame another human being, and we talked about this before, then it means it becomes their responsibility to fix your emotions. It's not theirs. It's your emotions. You have to live with your emotions. Meaning, go seek some help so somebody can give you perspective on how to handle your emotions so that you become better. You're not doing another human being a favor by building your emotions. You're doing yourself a favor first, and then you add value to other people. Hope that made sense. I really hope you got in the spirit that I wanted to share it.
Absolutely, indeed. Jazakallah khairan for another inspiring session. I was Imraan Choonara, and look forward to speaking to you on Monday, inshallah. You go well.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.